Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. I'm starting today's video with a movie journal update, which was much needed. I said this in my last video, but I watched 3 movies within the first week of January, and also since then I've watched another one. But this spread is about Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken. What a strange movie to start the year off with, but it's the first movie I watched of the year. Also, I keep wanting to call her Rory Gilman, like Rory Gilmore, even though I've never seen Gilmore Girls. I don't know why that's happening to me. Ruby seems like the kind of girl who would love to scrapbook. Like, I feel like she definitely has a scrapbook of memories with her friends. So that was kind of my inspiration when I was making this. I thought I want it to look like the kind of scrapbook I would have made when I was a kid. I guess Ruby's not a kid though. She's like a senior in high school, which is still a child, but not like a kid. I really didn't know what the movie would be about, like in terms of what the plot would be. And I was actually kind of disappointed. I thought it would be more so like following, I guess, kind of like her daily life. I mean, she's a Kraken, like there's so many things that could go wrong there, but it had like this whole entire plot of that she's like a secret princess and she didn't know it. And I was like, what? Like, she's Rapunzel? She's Anastasia? Like, there are just so many different stories that are already like that about being a secret princess. Oh my god, actually one time I was at the library and they have like these little baskets at the front, and there's like free stuff that you can take that people leave. And one time there was a VHS copy of Anastasia in there. I was like, who in the world left this? And I snatched it up so quickly. But anyway, I felt like Ruby, I wanted her story to be something different. But I did think it was funny that like the mermaids are the villains. And also anytime anyone asks her like, why are you blue? She's like, oh, I'm from Canada. What? So Ruby lives in this really beautiful town. Like, my favorite part about the movie was how the town was designed. I actually looked at my library, or like any library, to see if they had the art book, because I really wanted to flip through it to see if there was like anything about how the town was designed, but my library doesn't have it. So I might look for a YouTube video, because I know there are people that do art book flip throughs. But anyway, the town was so beautiful. I loved it. And prom is coming up and she wants to go to prom, but her mom was like, no, like you can't go by the ocean. Like, you know why, we're Krakens. But she decides she's gonna be rebellious and go to prom anyway without her mom knowing. And there's this guy that she likes at her school, and she wants to ask him. And when she's about to ask him, he accidentally gets thrown into the ocean, and he's like about to be a goner, and she's like, oh my god, oh no, what do I do? Because she's not supposed to get in the ocean, you know, and she's about to like jump, and I was like, oh my god, don't get in the ocean. But she falls in anyway, and when she does, that kind of awakens like her Kraken powers basically. And apparently only female Krakens can turn giant, so like male Krakens just stay normal size. But Ruby, she literally turns into this gigantic big monster. And personally, I felt like that was enough for the plot. I was like, her just turning into a monster randomly, like a gigantic Kraken, is kind of fun. But there was this whole plot line about, like I said, her being a secret princess, and she was training, and there was like this trident thing, and like it was this whole other thing. I would watch a whole movie of her just like trying to not turn into a giant Kraken, kind of like, I guess, turning red. You know, people loved Mei being in her red panda form, and I thought that would have been nice too. I mean, I guess like at the end of the movie when it's prom. Oh, also their prom happens on a boat. Isn't that so exciting? That's why her mom didn't want her to go to prom, because it's on a boat. But yeah, at the end of it, everyone's like, whoa, Ruby's so cool. But I kind of just didn't even get the message of the movie. Like, the mermaid that's evil, she's like, you're just a stupid teenage girl. And I'm like, weren't you a teenage girl at one point too? Like, what is the point of this movie? I mean, I support anything that says girls can be giant Krakens, girls can be anything they want to be and still be really cool and still have a date to the prom. But I just wish the plot could have been a little bit different. It was an okay movie. It was not bad at all. And I would probably rewatch it. Like, I wouldn't be mad if I had to like suddenly rewatch the movie. Also, I forgot that Pink Venom by Blackpink was like the song that was in the movie trailer whenever this came out, but I suddenly remembered it because at one point in the movie, I don't remember what it was. I think they were fighting or something. Oh, I think Ruby gets like a giant rock like dropped on her, but it was like a rat-da-da-da, and then the rock fell on her. Actually, that's probably what happened. They had to fire writers so that they could afford to play Blackpink's music in the movie. I used a lot of stuff from Canva for this spread. I also tried to make it sort of ocean themed. I wanted it to be very blue. The glitter stickers are so cute. I also really like that kind of like purpley glitter that I use. It looks like glitter glue to me. Or like when I was in school and it was like Spirit Week or whatever, you know, when you make t-shirts, I don't know if you know, but when you want to make a glittery t-shirt, you use glue and then you sprinkle the glitter over it, and then, you know, you dump the excess off. I just feel like Ruby would be crafty like that. And also I used a Jinbei-san little memo note because she has a whale friend. And I also knew I wanted there to be something that kind of represented prom. So I ended up using some confetti, even though honestly prom was such a small part of the movie. That's another thing I like about like modern kids movies as well. Like, I feel like the concept of a promposal didn't even exist like 20 years ago. I remember when I got promposed to and also had to do the promposal. For me, it was like around Valentine's Day, if not on Valentine's Day, I don't even remember. And it was like a balloon and a box of chocolate and some Uncrustables I don't know if they have Uncrustables all around the world, but they're just peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. A box of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And I think the poster board just said something like, you know, will you go to prom with me? It was something like that. I do like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I used to eat them a lot at lunchtime, so I guess that's why she thought like, I don't know. Actually, I really don't know what the point of the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches was. And then I had to like prom pose back to my friend, and she was like a blooming Disney adult. So she like really loved Disney stuff. So I made mine up themed, and it was like, will you go to the prom with me? I'll be upset if you don't. And I drew like the up on a little cloud, and I got her like a bunch of balloons, but I couldn't afford helium ones. So they were like just blown up with my mouth. I didn't even want to go to prom. Ruby Gilman had way more fun at prom than I did, and she had to fight a giant mermaid. The next spread I'm making is for my reading journal, and it's about the manga series Phantom Busters. This was not even on my January TBR. I had no business reading this when I had other things that I should have been reading, but I randomly saw on Twitter like weeks ago, people were talking about this series, and I didn't really think too much of it. Like I kind of took like a mental note of it. I think they were saying the mangaka used to draw like BL related stuff. I don't even remember now. But then I was watching some of my favorite Korean otaku vloggers, and I was watching one of the videos, and she had a copy of volume 1 of Phantom Busters, and then like literally the next video I was watching, the other girl also had volume 1 of Phantom Busters, and I was like, oh, it must have like been officially released in Korea. And if I see something a bunch of times like that, I'm like, well, clearly the universe is trying to tell me that I need to read it or consume it, whatever it is. And thankfully there is a person or people working on the English translation, so I was able to read volumes 1 through 3. So Phantom Busters is a shonen series, and it starts with Eugene, the one with the orange hair. So he's on his way to school one day, and he looks over the railing like towards the ocean, and he sees there's a boy in the ocean, and he's like, is anybody gonna do anything? And everybody else just keeps walking. He's like, well, I guess I gotta jump in and save him. And that boy is Mogari, the one with the black hair, and he can eat spirits. He can eat ghosts. And during all this, Eugene ends up losing this bracelet that his grandmother gave him, and he realizes that that happens at school. And when he's on his way home, he sees that Mogari is once again down by the ocean, and he's like, what are you doing? And Mogari is like, I'm looking for your bracelet. It's my fault you lost it. And Eugene goes down there, and he kind of starts to get sucked into the ocean by a ghost. And that's when one of their classmates comes to try to save both of them, and they realize their classmate can see ghosts. His name is Zaki, and he has like these scars around his eyes. And not only can he see ghosts, but when Mogari touches him, it's like Zaki is sharing his power with him, so he can see the ghosts too. Eugene has no spiritual powers, but they decide they're going to set up a club at school for like paranormal stuff. However, they have to have 4 people to have a club at school. Like, I guess those are the rules. And they figure out another of their classmates, Tamon, he can talk to ghosts. And so that's how the Phantom Busters are formed. It is such a funny story. Like, I was giggling out loud multiple times. The humor in it kind of reminds me of that manhwa, as in H-U-A, a Chinese manhwa. And I think it's called Nanhao and Shangfeng. It's been so long since I read it, I can't remember the names of the characters. I think that's right though. But anyway, the humor is so ridiculous. Like, it's just such a silly story. I feel like the stakes aren't too high yet or anything. I'm sure they probably will be though. And of course they start going on like, you know, I don't want to say missions. Like, they have little investigations that they do into some things that may or may not be haunted. And there's such like a big cast of characters, of course, but everybody is so funny. I definitely feel like the series will get licensed in English as well. Not even as part of my superpowers, but just like in general, I feel like the series will be popular enough to get a license. I just feel like female mangakas are giving us such good food. Like this, Phantom Busters, Goku Rakugai, Tokyo Aliens is written by a woman. Is there anything else right now? I don't know. But I'm just like, I love the good food we're getting. This spread was so fun to make. I don't even know how these colors came together, but I love how it ended up looking. And the ID photos, of course, you know me, I love ID cards. I love ID photos. And I also wanted to include some like random like little tidbits from the story, like the basketball heart, because Zaki like tries to be in the basketball club because he loves slam dunk. And also some music notes and stuff because they go to karaoke. And I used one of my little ghost pandas from my journalwithme deco kit. But yeah, Phantom Busters is really fun. I'll probably check back in on it like a year from now to see what else has been translated. I think there's maybe 4 volumes out in Japanese right now, so there's really not that much of the story even out. Like, this story, it could go anywhere. Like, I feel like the plot could go anywhere. So normally I would be making another spread at this point, but I made so many spreads without doing any kind of screen recording, and usually I would kind of try to like mention them at the end of my video when I'm putting all the spreads into my journals, but I thought today I could kind of quickly go through them to tell you about them. So this first one is for Asteroid City. This is in my movie journal, of course. I liked the movie, but I didn't love it. I feel like if you've seen a Wes Anderson movie, you've kind of seen a Wes Anderson movie, right? But I used some of those stitched looking embroidery patch kind of looking stickers that I found on Twitter. So those will be linked in the description box. And everything else is definitely from Pinterest. I used a house frame from Canva with that blue starry wallpaper. I made the movie poster black and white because I feel like number one, it looked better with the color palette, and also there's like black and white portions of the movie. So that's the first one. And the next is this spread for Pride and Prejudice, which is a rewatch for me. I need to stop rewatching movies when there are so many I have not seen yet. I used some letter frames from Canva with some backgrounds that I found on Pinterest. But everything else, I'm pretty sure, other than that gold seal, is stuff that I found on Canva. So the brown envelope, the flower painting, the crinkled paper, the like blue ripped paper, the kind of like rose gold-ish glitter stars, all of that is from Canva. Oh, and also the green gingham background, like the very back background, and that little strip of like the text from the book. Those are both from Pinterest, but everything else is from Canva. And then I have two spreads that I made for when it snowed, my nemesis, the snow. This first spread, the backgrounds are from Pinterest, and then I just made snowmen with just like the circle shapes on Canva. And then the snowflakes, of course, are also from Canva, and the stars and the swirls, of course. But everything else is from Pinterest. I love the artwork of Hello Kitty and Fifi making snowmen. That is so cute. And then the next spread has some Sumiko Garashi art as well as Rilakuma. That's also really cute. I just used those snowflake frames that I used around Christmas time, and star frames, of course, and then all of the backgrounds, polka dots, gingham, all of those are all from Pinterest. And then the next spread is so simple. It's just some photos from SM Town. There are a bunch of different pink backgrounds, but I've definitely used all of them in spreads before. Same with those Hello Kitty labels. I've used those before. And yeah, that's it. I hope that it was okay that I took a little intermission to walk you through some of those spreads. I feel like it's a little boring to like kind of stare at nothing on the screen, but I hope it was okay. And now we can move on to making the last spread of this video. This one is for my movie journal, and it's for the movie Mystic Pizza, which is a rewatch. I need to stop rewatching movies. If you watched my last video though, then you would know I'm really trying to use any type of free resource I have. So if something is free on YouTube, or if something is free, like in this case, we get MGM Plus for free. Again, I feel like it's not really for free because my mom pays for cable. But anyway, it's free. It's like supposed to be a bonus. And there are a lot of movies actually that I need to watch. Like I really need to watch Bottoms, Challengers. Like MGM Plus has a lot of good newer movies. But anyway, I saw Mystic Pizza and I was like, I have to watch this. Well, I didn't have to, but I really wanted to for some reason. And so now here we are. Also, I could have sworn I had a very specific memo that was pizza themed. I don't know. I feel like I can see it in my head so clearly, but I looked through my Pinterest board, like my personal Pinterest board, you know, my unorganized boards, but I could not find it. I'm pretty good at having the memo notes organized at least, and I feel like if I had one, I would have seen it. But I feel like that hamburger one is really cute too. So Mystic Pizza is really a fall movie. It kind of seems like it would be a summer movie, but it's definitely a fall movie. So if I was gonna rewatch it, really I'm a little late. I should have watched it in like October, but anyway. It's a coming of age story about these three girls, three friends. Two of them are sisters. They're all just young women, and you see like the romantic entanglements that they get themselves into. So the one girl who's like supposed to be kind of like the smart, like responsible one, she gets into, I don't even want to say a relationship because that's not the word, but she gets into a situation with a married man. One of them has this boyfriend that she's had for a while, and he wants to marry her, and she is not ready for that kind of commitment. And then Julia Roberts' character, she meets this rich boy, like northeastern New England wealth, like that kind of vibe, old money. And yeah, that's really the whole entire movie. It's just all of their different relationships with each other as well as these men. Like the sisters, one of them is kind of wild, that's Julia Roberts' character, and the other one, like I said, is very, you know, goody two-shoes. So they can be at odds, and like their mom, I wouldn't really say she pits them against each other, but you know, she kind of makes it known that she wants Daisy, Julia Roberts' character, to be like, to make something of herself. And it's funny because even though, you know, she's the more like wild one, she's like the one in like a more stable relationship with the rich boy, because her sister is with this married man. And even though I think she's out of her mind, I do kind of get her a little bit, because like his aesthetic, the married man's aesthetic, he went to Yale, so that's kind of giving old money vibes as well. He has like kind of like windswept hair, and he has like these really big glasses. This movie came out in the 80s, but to me the glasses look very like 70s, so it's like, oh, are these his like favorite glasses that he's like loved and cherished for years, and like just gets like the lenses replaced. And he has all these like nice outfits. Like one time it's like chilly, and he like takes off his like nice sweater and gives it to her. And also there's a scene where he's wearing like a Ralph Lauren button down, a yellow one. Oh my god, When I was younger, I could literally go into Goodwill and just flip through any number of button downs like that, polo button downs, any type of like fancy brands like that, because you know, where I live, I can just imagine just like rich white people, like some ladies like going through her husband's closet and it's like, oh, he doesn't wear this, he doesn't need this, and like giving them away to Goodwill, and it would be $3. I used to flip through shirts like that all the time, and like I would think nothing of it. What a fool I was. I really love Mystic Pizza though. I feel like actually if it weren't for the fashion, like Mystic Pizza could be set in any year actually. Like visually, it definitely looks like it's from the 80s, but the story itself feels really timeless to me. Also, when I was watching this, I was thinking to myself, has Jaehyun ever seen this? Because I feel like he would really love it. I feel like we have similar tastes in things, so that's why I think he would, but maybe he would hate it. Because years ago, whenever he recommended Before Sunset, is that what that movie is called? That movie with Ethan Hawke? I watched it, of course, like I'm gonna watch whatever Jaehyun says is good. I could not stand Ethan Hawke's character at all. His character is like some guy who thinks he sounds smart on Reddit. Like that's the vibe. So don't watch Before Sunset, but do watch Mystic Pizza. That's today's listen. Today's video was a little bit different, right? With the middle part being a little strange, but it was literally just so cold and I was making spreads, but I was like, I cannot sit here and screen record because like my hands would be cold, so I would work on a spread for maybe like 10 minutes and then stop. So I had to make the executive decision that I just like was not going to screen record so many of the spreads that I made. And now it's about to get cold again and I'm like, oh no, like what am I gonna do? Also, I feel like I've read a lot this month, but I haven't really decided like what I want to make spreads for yet. Normally I try to make spreads like right after I've finished something so that like it's still fresh in my mind, but I've been thinking about my reading journal. Oh, also another thing I was thinking about is whenever I finish a spread and save it, I was thinking about maybe I should go to like an image compressor, and like I don't want to compress the file so much that like I lose any of the colors, like the vibrancy. But I was thinking that might be a good solution, especially if you have like a bunch of spreads in your digital journal like I do and not a lot of space on your device. Like maybe I need to go back to all of my digital journals and like resave the spreads and then compress the file and like switch them out, and like that would free up some space. That's kind of a good idea, although that seems very tedious and like it would take a long time. But I meant to talk about that in my last video and I completely forgot. I can't believe it's about to get so cold again. Like I can hear the wind already. Like it kind of seems like it's gonna rain. I don't know why it's so windy. And I can't believe it's gonna snow again. It usually never snows. And then for it to snow twice. I remember one year it snowed on my birthday party, the day of my birthday party, and my birthday's in March. And people were like calling my house phone and they were like, you know, are you still having your birthday party? Like, yes, get down here. This year though, we were like honestly kind of snowed in. It's not that there was like that much snow. I mean, it was maybe like, I don't know, 2 inches or something. It wasn't that much. But because of how our house is situated, like the front of it is always in the shade, like it's always in shadow. So the snow and the ice simply would not melt. So I went outside with a rake, not even a shovel. And I was like just trying to get the snow out of the way, like trying to like agitate it so it would melt, and like trying to bust up the ice because I was like, it's too dangerous for my mom to even walk outside. So I literally felt like I was in the Webkins mines with my rake. Like I was just like banging it like it was an ice pick onto the gravel. The gravel? No, the concrete. I have to stop chatting. The video is ending. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Everything I used in today's video will be in my Pinterest board. The link to that is in my description box, along with the links to my other social media accounts and the Google Drive folders for my deco kits. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer them. And I hope that you're having a good week so far. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone.